one of us tries desperately to keep up. We'll let you decide which host is which, but for now, swinging in are with me. God damn it! I can't do it with you swooshing.
Wait. They're my organic webs. What do you want me to do?
Does that come from your skin?
I need a moment to get through the script.
Do you ever have a web blockage?
Welcome to a special episode of 3 and a Half. Spoiler alert. Do not listen to this episode if you have not watched Spider-Man No Way Home. Please. We are going to spoil the shit out of this movie, so please do not listen to our podcast if you have not watched that movie.
Spider-Man's in the movie.
He is definitely in the movie. Welcome to another episode of 3 and a Half Gentlemen, the podcast, where 3 of the 4 hosts provide a refined and intellectual analysis of movies from our private collections, and one of us tries desperately to keep up. We'll let you decide which host is which, but for now, my name is Sean, and with me, as always, web swinging in are my co-hosts, Jeremiah.
What up, yo? I love you guys.
Eddie.
And with great power comes great responsibility.
And Brandon.
That's the Green Goblin's laugh. That's what I was going for there. That was good. It was really good.
We are bringing in the new year with a special selection that not only is the most anticipated movie of 2021 and 2022, it's the biggest solo movie in Marvel Universe, but easily the biggest blockbuster since Endgame.
That's a lot of easilies and biggests. Oh, shit, it's my turn. As with every review, Sean, this is really tough, man. How do you do this every single week? Anyway.
Every other week, bro.
Updated format. As with every review we give, our goal is to answer one simple question, which is how many drinks does it take to get through the film we've just watched? At the end of this podcast, we're going to rate the movie based on a scale of 0 to 5, 0 being a perfect film that you can watch stone cold sober, and a 5 being the sort of film that makes you want to burst through a butchered spell and terrorize a different universe. That's good, Sean. I appreciate that.
I actually like that. That's the way to go.
Brandon,
that's the way to go.
Did you make that up yourself, Brandon?
I really did. That was on the spot.
In addition to our review, we pair our selection with a cocktail that we hope that will enhance the viewing experience. So please feel free to shake, stir, and mix the cocktail we have chosen and settle in what we hope will be an engaging review.
With that, what wall-crawling movie do we have this evening, gentlemen?
Well, tonight we have a movie not yet out of theaters. It's 2021's end of Spider-Man Homecoming trilogy, Spider-Man No Way Home. With Spider-Man's identity revealed by Mysterio in Far From Home, Peter Parker asks Doctor Strange to help hide his identity to get his life back to normal. When Doctor Strange's spell is interrupted, dangerous foes from the universe and the multiverse begin to appear, forcing Peter to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. This film is rated an 8.8 on IMDb, has an audience score of 98 freaking percent, and a critic score of 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, respectively. Along with Tom Holland, Spider-Man, Zendaya, Marissa Tomei, and Benedict Cumberbatch, the film brings back storied villains from Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies. Don't do it. You already gave the spoiler warning, but I'm not doing it.
Wait a second. Are you talking about Andrew Maguire?
No, it says Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
It could be Andrew Maguire. Anyway, we got some villains that we've known and learned to love and hate, including Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, Jamie Foxx as Electro, Rufin Evans as Lizard, and Thomas Hayden Church as Sandman.
That's a typo. I apologize. It's Rufus Evans.
I said Rufin.
That's because that's what it's written.
You also,
Fuck you, Jeremiah. Go.
Okay.
All right. So since this was a group pick, Eddie, I believe that this was the movie that you switch out with Spider-Man: The Spider-Verse.
Wait, was this a group pick? Because I was told to go to theaters and see this thing.
No, I think this was a group pick.
This is a group pick, but
I forgot. 3 out of 4. I'll be the half gentleman on this one.
I took out Spider-Man into the multiverse.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse. There's no reason to watch that after you watch.
No, it's basically just watch it in real life, but make it a little bit better.
So I'll go first, I guess, if we're talking about first impressions, because I think that I was looking forward to this movie for a couple of different reasons. Number one, because of the hyped up Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Like for months, people have been saying they're in the movie, and they've been denying it categorically. And anytime that there's like this build, I get excited about a movie.
Wait,
so I was super excited.
Where were they in the movie? Were they like in the background?
Shut up, Brandon.
Okay.
So-
are we spoiler alerting or not?
But I was also super excited about like Daredevil going in there, and
That
I
was
was really
awesome.
hoping multiverse. I was like, oh, maybe Tony Stark is going to come back. So I was super excited.
He was pissed that he wasn't in it.
Go ahead, Eddie. What do you think?
I was also really excited. I mean, everyone had it hush hush. They didn't announce Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield in the movie. So I remember everyone was like really playing the be quiet. Like Andrew Garfield, he kept denying it. Tobey Maguire was straight up like, "Yeah, I'm in the movie." Like he's like, "Yeah, oh well, I'm in the movie." What up, guys?
You see me in the outfit right now? Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, he's just like, and he hates the publicity. Like he pretty much tells everyone like he gives everyone the evil eye. But I was happy to see those guys back, especially for Andrew Garfield. I felt like his Spider-Man life got cut short, so he was one of my favorites.
Brandon?
Yeah, so unlike you two, I was not excited about another Marvel
How dare
movie,
you.
and so my life with Spider-Man is that I've seen the first three Tobey Maguires, and then once he turned emo, venomous, I was like, nope, not happening. So I've never actually seen the Andrew Garfield movies, and never seen any of the Tom Hollands. Never saw any of the Avenger movies with Tom Holland. So this is my first jump back in the Spider-Man pool, and we'll need to talk because I'm still not processing this 2 days after seeing this movie. I'll just say this though, that yesterday I'm working and I'm doing shit, and all I can do, and I'm just find myself stopping in the middle of my work and going, "Fuck, what happened at the end? What's gonna happen?" I'm in love with this character and with this movie. So there's a jump into it. Jer, what do you think of first impressions?
Oh, I was just pretty much excited about the whole, like, the end of this trilogy because No Way Home, it kind of like tiptoe around that there could be a possible multi-universe. And then lo and behold, like, you just knew that you keep hearing little things here about the movie and coming up, and you're just like, is it possible? Is it really going to happen? How are they going to do this? And then when we saw the first trailer, when you see, you know, Doc Ock coming out of the freeway, and you see the Green Goblin's like, a little bomb here, and you're just like, oh shit, it's going to happen. So
happening.
That actually gave us the taste, like the possibility of this actually really going to happen. It was just one of those things that you're just like, I can't believe this is actually, I'm watching something that's going to happen like this. You know what I'm saying? It was just like unreal.
And am I mistaken to think we've all seen the Into the Spider-Verse movie? Is that correct? We've all seen that
Yes,
movie?
we have seen that one.
So I'm going to say two things before we get going on this review, because number one is I don't think that this movie is possible without that movie. I think
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Spider-Verse opened the door to the idea that you could merge Spider-Man. I mean, I know it's in the comics or whatever, but you could merge Spider-Man in a movie, and you could actually have something that was not only watchable but absolutely entertaining as fuck. Like this movie, like it brought out a kid. I'm a 36-year-old freaking man.
You're
You still got a couple weeks to go, bro.
I do,
Let's go.
but still,
So,
There was a lot.
wait.
It was a lot of generations here, like
Okay,
just generations of Spider-Mans here that we all have grown up with and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, there was this nostalgic feeling just watching this particular movie, going back to our favorite moments in Spider-Man, and just actually introducing a new whole world to Spider-Man, such as Brandon right here, because he's probably never seen Tom Holland as Spider-Man, which I was all curious of. 2 days ago, I'm like, what is his reaction? What is he thinking about? Like, what the hell?
Well, and the second thing I was going to say is I don't think this movie works unless they all came back, because if you just cherry picked villains, let's say Willem Dafoe and Doc Ock were the only ones that came back. I think the fact that all the villains from every single Spider-Man movie that has ever been, except for, Topher Grace and as Venom, which you kind of got a different little spin on that one, but I think that this movie doesn't work without those two things, without Into the Spider-Verse cartoon or animated, and all the villains coming back in gusto. So I think let's start there.
Yeah, well, I want to start actually. I just found out something that is actually not pronounced. It's Reese Ifans that's in the movie.
Oh, sorry about that.
So I was just looking on IMDb right now and realized it's. I mean, I love Reese, and
I'm pretty sure he gets that through his whole life, pretty much.
yeah,
like with
yeah,
his
yeah.
name.
Well, I mean, I love him, and so to mispronounce his name because the script was incorrect, Sean.
That's my bad. That's my bad right there. That's my bad.
All right, let's jump into this shit. Actually, let's swing into this shit.
So let's start with I want a couple of little Brandon only sounds here because so we were introduced to Tom Holland as Spider-Man in Captain America: Civil War, and this was the first time you really got a sense of who Tom Holland was, and he had a really great relationship with Tony Stark. And we, me, Jeremiah, and Eddie, I can safely say we're all super blown away by Tom Holland as Spider-Man. He was fantastic. You have never seen him as Brandon has never seen him as Spider-Man. What were your first impressions of Tom Holland's Spider-Man?
I'm looking at it. I don't think that I've seen oh no, I saw The Devil All the Time. I was gonna say I don't think I've ever seen a movie with Tom Holland in it up until this one. So I've seen 2 movies now of Tom Holland, and I remember because I've talked to you guys about it nonstop, and you guys keep raving about how he is Peter Parker and he is Spider-Man. He is this fun, exciting thing to the character, and I kept saying, okay, well that's just hype. That's just you guys blowing it up into something because you really like it. And so, I mean, I'm not going to say that I went into this movie with like a negative kind of mindset, but I definitely didn't go into it with like a hyped up like you guys did. And I mean, I can't tell you how right you guys were. Is that he is this character, and he brings something that I don't think you get to have in a lot of different characters, and that's just excitement and fun with that character. You know, and that's one of my biggest complaints. One of my many biggest complaints about superhero movies is that they just take themselves too fucking seriously. And even though Tom Holland does bring a seriousness to this character, he wants to do it right. You just smile watching him because you can just see that he's enjoying the shit out of it as an actor, but as a character too. So, yeah, you guys were 100% on board or on point with this. And now I'm on board with you guys with this.
So you're gonna watch Civil War and Homecoming, and
Yeah, I was about to ask you
What's
that.
really funny, Brandon,
Yeah, I want
is
to.
you haven't watched the best movies
And that's
of the
the
MCU.
problem.
That's my
Yeah,
problem.
seriously.
Like Civil War, literally, like Winter Soldier, Civil War, Avengers, Endgame, Avengers,
Guardians of the
Infinity War,
Galaxy.
and Guardians of the Galaxy are
Yeah.
the best that the MCU has to offer. You haven't watched any of them.
And I mean,
Watch
I
Black
mentioned
Panther.
this. Yeah, I've mentioned this. Well, Black Panther was good for 3/4, but I mentioned this every time we do a Marvel movie that really it was Avengers 1 and Joss Whedon that just to me ruined any wanting for me to go see these movies. And maybe, well, not maybe, I'm going to go ahead and go out and say you're right. Probably is that I haven't seen the good ones, and I'm basing my opinion off of Joss Whedon bullshit. You know?
Yeah,
And-
like when you see, like, go back, watch Homecoming. That's a great introduction of, like, you know, Spider-Man and everything like that, and also No Way Home. And you know, and I just love the fact.
Far From Home.
Oh,
Far From
no,
Home.
I'm sorry,
From Home.
Far From Home. Sorry, Far From Home. And I love the fact that the movie starts off right after Far From Home. Like,
And I could say that I had no,
Yeah.
like, I kind of knew what was going, like, because I think I've overheard you guys talking about it, but it threw me in, and I didn't feel lost at all. I took my 7-year-old, and he was able to catch on, you know, and they do a perfect job, really, of bringing, you know, people who are returning to this storyline in, but also bringing in people like me who really have no clue what's going on.
Well, see, and that's what I was worried about because we watched the movie with Kim, me and Jeremy's old roommate, and she had not seen the Daredevil show, so she had no idea who Daredevil was. So we went opening night. Me, Jeremiah, and Eddie all went opening night. And when we were sitting in the theater, when you know when Charlie Cox came on as Daredevil as Matt Murdock, the whole theater erupted in this like crazy excitement. And Kim reaches over to me and she goes, "The fuck's going on? Like, what?" I mean, she didn't say fuck.
dude, that was
What's
so
going
big
on?
right there. That was the one that right there. It's just like not even like what 15 minutes into the movie, and you get that first little dip of like, okay, this is going to be a different Marvel movie than we have actually experienced before. Just knowing that, you know, Murdoch is in this particular world right here, that he's actually being a part of this whole, like, you know, Spider-Man universe and everything like that. I just love the idea of it because you don't really get to see that, you know, with his TV show in Netflix, you know, when Disney had that partnership with Netflix and whatnot.
And I'll tell you, that show, Daredevil, I was telling Brandon off mic, Daredevil to me is one of the greatest MCU
It's
shows.
fucking great, dude.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
So
And
like
it's
I didn't
gritty
know
and-
I didn't know that was Daredevil because it wasn't Ben Affleck. And I did see that one and did not like that one.
You didn't like Colin Farrell's
But-
Bullseye?
Oh my
You-
no,
you and the rest
I
of the
love
world.
Colin Farrell. I love Colin
Did
Farrell.
you watch The Punisher, Brandon? Did you watch The
No,
Punisher?
no.
See, he hasn't seen any of the Punisher.
No.
I mean, even Luke Cage was really good, and Jessica Jones. The only one that I thought was poor was the Iron Fist show.
Iron Fist was
But-
horrible.
Well, I mean, even then, I
And
wouldn't say it
haven't
was
seen-
horrible.
I haven't seen
It was
Loki.
pretty
I
bad.
haven't seen what's the
Yeah,
one?
but these are all Netflix. Anyway,
Oh,
so
okay,
bringing in Daredevil, bringing in Charlie Cox. The thing I loved about this movie was you were first of all plunged into the fact that Peter Parker, everyone knew who he was, Spider-Man. Okay, which is a completely different reaction to when Tony Stark revealed that he was Iron Man in Iron Man. You have a completely different kind of feel to it. You know, Tony Stark did it on purpose. Peter Parker didn't. Basically, Peter Parker was outed by Mysterio. So you're dealing with that in the first, let's say, 20 minutes of the movie
I
where
was gonna
he's
say
like,
20 seconds. Yeah.
well, no, because he
Well,
goes,
we get thrust right into it.
yeah, and you see his relationships, suffering with Zendaya and with Ned and with the Flash Thompson. You have kind of his whole little character arc, which I thought was interesting, and then you get plunged kind of into Avengers world with his relationship with Doctor Strange, which
Yeah.
okay.
See, I'm going to say this here with this whole Doctor Strange part. If there was a little mark that I was just like, yeah, what's going on here, is the whole Doctor Strange thing. And to me, it's like this. Doctor Strange, he should have known better as a character regarding to what he was going to get himself into regarding to doing this type of spell. I almost thought that he was going to be the villain in the movie for some particular reason. Like he was going to be a multi-universe villain or something like that. What we're supposed to be getting like some type of introduction of the new Doctor Strange movie that's coming out later on this year.
The multiverse of madness.
Yes.
Yeah, Doctor Strange made a premature decision because remember how he sat down and he saw how many different million ways
Yeah.
of how, I don't want to talk about other movies, but how like Infinity War and Endgame with how it was supposed to happen to kill Thanos. So
yeah,
why
14 million. Yeah.
so it's like you actually see all the different ways, and this time you just kind of like, yeah, I'll change you.
So
Right?
here's-
He's a fucking amazing character though.
He
Like
is.
again, coming into it without having any preconceptions of him. His character is great. He's such a likable character.
And his standalone movie, Brandon, is
Yeah.
delightful. It's
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not like this. It's not like this earth-shattering movie, but he is wonderful. And Rachel McAdams is his.
Oh, gotta love her. Yeah.
And Mads Mikkelsen was
Oh,
the
yeah.
villain. Oh, so good, so good.
Well,
So
he does villains like nobody else.
Yeah. So I want to say this though, to Jeremiah's part, which I agree with you in part and I disagree with you in part. Okay. So I think that yes, he knew better, but I also think that he felt bad. He felt bad for Peter Parker for losing Iron Man, and I think this was kind of his
Atonement?
no. His trying to step in as like the fun uncle who's gonna help him, help him with his shit.
I totally get what you're saying because he is filling in the Tony Stark role, the Robert Downey Jr. role, as kind of like the father figure in a way, And yeah, he does have sympathy. He even says he kind of goes, man, I kind of forget. Did he say to him I kind of forget that you're a kid still and you're dealing with all the shit, Basically, what I'm just saying is that I just I get it, and I get it. That's just how the movie is going to go with. I just man, I expected a little more from Doctor Strange. Especially,
I do agree with
Well,
you.
I think with Doctor Strange, it showed he's still kind of new to his power, right? Let's be real. He hasn't had more than 10 years, if that, in the Marvel universe.
Was he gone for 5 years?
So
yeah, he was blipped.
So
he was blipped.
So think about he doing this new time spell that he's not really aware of, and also with Peter Parker trying to also throw in little bits and crannies that he didn't know that's going to cause an issue. Because I don't think he's never done it before. He even said he never did it. So
And let me
his...
throw this at you too. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ed. So let me throw this at you too.
Again?
High five.
Sorry. So Doctor Strange, as a character, Stephen Strange, is reckless. That's who he is as a character. He was the one driving his Maserati or whatever the fuck expensive car that was, looking at roadies. That's how he got injured in the first place. His whole life has been 10,000 miles an hour. So it's not, I don't think, out of character for him to do something a little bit reckless. I will say that. I don't think that's out of
totally
character.
get what you're saying. Totally get what you're saying. But after just dealing with the whole in game,
Oh no, I
blip,
totally understand.
I'm just like, yo, you might want to just tread
back
on
off.
some safe land right here, yo. This is so funny because we're getting out all these spoilers, but I feel like we should be like, hey, Brandon, by the way, this is a spoiler for this film, and this is gonna be a spoiler for this film.
No, I
It's
know.
good. No, at this point. So
Yeah.
how long after, I guess, that scenario does this take place? Like after
So probably
Tony's died and everything?
probably a year. Probably like a year. I don't know
Okay.
exactly.
I believe that the year was supposed to be 2024 or something like that.
Yeah. So Mysterio and Far From Home was right after Endgame, probably like the next school year. And so they were going to Europe for a trip, and he was trying to distance himself and get beyond Tony's death and all that. Then I think so. Let's assume it's like a year and a half.
Year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of progressed. And here's what I even though I agree with Jeremiah that it was a little hasty for Doctor Strange to do the spell, what the fuck else could have happened to bring forth these wonderful villains? And
Well, here's the thing, though. What you're forgetting, though, is that it would have worked, right? He would have been fine with it if Peter hadn't fucked everything up, right? And I mean,
he had to change it like 5 or 6 times,
Yeah.
actually.
it was comedic, but at the same time, I don't think that we can necessarily blame Strange for the out of control that had happened. Because if he had just said, "Hey, nobody remembers that I'm Spider-Man," it would have been done, and everybody, life would have gone on without any hitch.
What do you guys think about seriously the first kind of action scene when he's on the freeway and then you're like, oh shit?
I was
This is
rolling my
happening.
eyes. Yeah, I was rolling my eyes because I was like, well, here comes the Marvel shit. And granted, it happened. I guess it's part of his Wolverine DNA that he can't get hurt, because I'm like, this guy should be dead. He should be pulverized. And so maybe he can't be hurt. I don't know. But
he's wearing
at
the iron suit, bro.
So
it gets ripped off. He could get a little splinter in his chest.
It's nanotechnology, bro.
Wait,
So
Eddie,
Doc-
what's up?
But at the same time, yeah.
Go ahead.
Eddie,
No,
go.
go
ahead.
ahead.
Ed, you go.
So Doc Ock, Alfred, he was talking about how he was so happy that the technology has changed over time, because in Spider-Man, the first movies, he was bound to, he couldn't move anything. He was stuck. So those movies were, it was like it was very bad. The technology wasn't as good. So this movie coming out here, he was really able to dive into his character and have more movement.
And Alfred Molina is so fucking good, man. He is.
To what Eddie was saying though too, I think that freed him up to act to actually act, because before, when he was playing Doc Ock the first time, by the way, best Spider-Man movie until this one was Spider-Man 2. His character was very bound, like he was saying, to those arms.
Like a
Now
puppet.
he was able to kind of move and act and engage with Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Peter, and it was a completely different type of character. I think actually you saw that with every single character. I think
Yep.
Jamie Foxx was. I mean, I might be writing. It might be. At
Willem
age-
Dafoe is just Willem Dafoe. I mean, that guy is
Willem
creepy
Dafoe
as
was
fuck.
always great.
Yeah,
Dude,
he's just
but
great.
what's so
But
cool
Jamie
about
Foxx was
this?
a shitty villain. I'm sorry,
He
Jamie
was.
Foxx was a shitty villain.
But he
in
had a
Spider-Man
little
2.
redemption in this one because he wasn't all blew up and everything like that. He
Yeah.
looked
I
like
agree.
Astro. He looked like
Yes.
Electro, actually, from
And
the comics.
Done up.
Reese Ifans, I mean, you didn't see him very much in the movie, but he played Dr. Kirk Connors, who became the Lizard. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm a huge Amazing Spider-Man fan. I really liked the Andrew Garfield movies. He was a bright spot, and so was Thomas Hayden Church. They were both bright spots in this movie because you got all the villains back, and they were all redone. They were all just the CG was better. Everything about them was better.
They were redone, but then there was that whole redemption quality to it. And I think, Sean, you said it off mic on a text, that it's a movie that you love the villains, right? You like the bad guys. It makes you care about them, because that's the whole point of the movie, is that we need to care about literally the people that we can't find ourselves wanting to care about. And I think that the redemption really, really was a central key or theme. But at the same time, it was really cool to see the fact that we're kind of rooting for the bad guys to overcome it instead of just, oh, let's have the good guy beat the bad guy.
But in the same sense, but you have this feeling like something is going to happen, something is going to fall apart, and I think Willem Dafoe just ate his part up like no other. Like, it was so like refreshing to see the original Green Goblin. And he was more terrifying as this one than he was in the original one.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. The one part about the movie that I thought was I didn't like it. Okay, so was the concept of Aunt May and the rehabilitation of all the villains, the whole reasoning behind everyone deserves a second chance. Let's just go back a little bit and talk about, okay, Alfred Molina, Doc Ock, absolutely. He didn't kill anyone. He didn't really do anything bad. Willem Dafoe fucking murdered like 8 people in Spider-Man.
But
Jamie Foxx murdered 2 people. Rufus Ifans killed fucking like 5 people. And then Sandman was, to me, the most soft one that didn't kill anyone. And Sandman had a redemption in Spider-Man 3. I'm just saying, you don't know these people's history, Aunt May. You're making this like you need to save everyone. And Willem Dafoe literally almost killed his son because his board of Oscorp went against him. So
But the thing about time out. Willem Dafoe's character, he was made into the Green Goblin. Remember that he was a normal type of a human being and whatnot. You know, he was like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of character, and the evil got out of him and whatnot. But that guy was seriously a normal human being, and he was able to find some type of redemption in the end that he is not this monster.
Sure.
And remember, in this universe, they don't know their backstory, right? It's you just be like, oh, this is just a bad guy.
But the assumption that everyone's like good, it's like, come on, Aunt May, come on.
Yeah. And honestly, Aunt May, especially with what the Endgame just went through, is like, come on, Aunt May, like, shut your mouth. Like, not everyone needs a rehab program here.
So one of the things about this trilogy that
you gotta get yourself killed, Aunt May. You gotta get yourself killed.
Oh, spoiler, she dies.
One of the things about this trilogy that I thought was absolutely brilliant is early on, the big criticism was, where's Uncle Ben? Uncle Ben doesn't die, which creates the dichotomy of Spider-Man. What is going on?
Which I had assumed happened, but apparently it didn't.
It didn't. It never happened. So when you come to the conclusion that Aunt May is Uncle Ben in Tom Holland's universe, is that it was her death that created the Spider-Man he should have been. It makes her death so much more beautiful. And then you have this scene where, I mean, I'm skipping because we still have to talk about the introduction of Toby and Andrew. But when Tom Holland is broken, he's standing on top of that building. I think it's the school building. And Andrew Garfield comes down, and Tobey Maguire was great, but that story is kind of old and played out, and that's fine. When Andrew Garfield comes down and says, "She was my MJ. I lost Gwen." That to me was just the heartbeat, but it was the heartbeat of the movie and the heartbeat of the franchise. Like all of a sudden, everything went. Oh my God, Aunt May is Uncle Ben. Aunt May is the reason that Spider-Man becomes the real Spider-Man, like how he's supposed to be.
He grows up a little bit, yeah.
The beauty thing about this film, and I don't know if Brandon was aware of this, the Spider-Man, you get the origin story about Spider-Man. In Amazing Spider-Man, you also get the origin. In the Homecoming, you don't get that. You don't get like any introduction. Like you're just like, he's just Spider-Man. He's been Spider-Man the whole long. This movie seriously is like a origin story of how Spider-Man is now Spider-Man when you think about it, because he's stripped down from everything you know, and this is his story. This is the beginning of his story, which is kind of fun because it's the end of the trilogy, but it's the start of a new origin of how he's become the Spider-Man.
And to go forward in the movie at the very end when Tom Holland is fucking up Willem Dafoe, like hitting him and then he tries to stab him with the glider, and Tobey Maguire comes up and grabs the glider. If you go back into the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, he had those moments where he lost control, and he lost control with his friend, and he lost control with like his whole life. And to have him be the one that stopped Tom Holland from going there, to me was so beautiful. It was like one of those moments that you cheer inside. Like you see like your childhood is coming to the rescue of the next generation of Spider-Man. And that to me is huge. It was just a huge moment.
It was weird to see Aunt May not as like a 75-year-old white-haired lady, but instead super hot Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei is one of the most gorgeous actresses of all time, dude. Seriously.
I swear, I thought it was like a cousin or something, and she's like Aunt May, and I was like, that's not my Aunt May.
Tony, you didn't see this, but Tony Stark was all about Aunt May.
Well, who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
So
was Hogan.
There are
John
great
Favreau,
memes. There are great memes going around though, because apparently Alfred Molina was with Sally Field in a movie, with Marissa Tomei in a movie, and with the Aunt May, the original Aunt May. I think I don't remember who it was. Eva Reese. But anyway, all of those. Like, there's this thing. It's like, hello, nephews.
And off of Sean's comment about, it almost feels like every Spider-Man in every universe, someone's gonna die no matter what. For that Spider-Man, somebody he cares about, no matter what. In order for Spider-Man to become Spider-Man, somebody he loves is gonna die in that universe. Every universe is different, so it was cool to see that. And like, there's different deaths in every universe, and this is how Spider-Man is supposed to become Spider-Man.
Everything has its own destiny.
Story. Yeah,
no, and not to bring in Westworld, because I think Westworld is one of the greatest shows ever made. But there's a concept in that show called the cornerstone, where every character has a cornerstone or a thing that creates the what is it? The point with which all the characteristics are developed. Brandon, help me out with that. It's like this
exposition, inciting incident. What we're talking about.
Yeah. So it's like Spider-Man's zeitgeist, who he is as a human being, is derived from
a life event,
from this loss. Yeah, from this cornerstone event. And for a lot of the Spider-Man, it's losing Uncle Ben. For this Spider-Man, it's losing, Aunt May.
I guess,
and I think
it's the origin of the story of Spider-Man. Right. The consequences of what he has to do or what he's done, becoming Spider-Man. And this is his origin story. This is the reason what he's become. It's now forever. It's his manifest destiny. That's pretty much what it is.
But it's the idea too that all superheroes really have this inciting incident of a death, right? You got Bruce Wayne loses his parents, he becomes Batman. You've got Peter Parker loses Uncle Ben or Aunt May or somebody, and it creates this idea of Spider-Man. And I think that that's important because it shows these characters the worst of humanity so that they can drive themselves to better that world. Right.
Well, and I like that this Tom Holland Spider-Man saw the worst, saw Green Goblin kill Aunt May, and wanted fucking revenge. He didn't want to save the world. He wanted to kill Willem Dafoe. And to me, that progress that he made was so real and raw. And that's what kind of made the movie so good. Let's not forget that he fought Thanos, that he literally could have taken the gauntlet. There's one of my, I'm going to digress right here and go on a little rant. There is a, sorry, I apologize.
You just already went on a rant.
He had the gauntlet for a while. He took his hand in there
but
for.
There's one of my favorite things. I don't know if it was real or not, but it was a theory that cover your ears, Brandon. In Endgame, Spider-Man, Tom Holland was supposed to take the gauntlet and snap his fingers and end Thanos, and his last words were supposed to be, "I just wanted to be like you, Mr. Stark."
Yeah,
that right there, to me, would have been the greatest ending to the Spider-Man anthology ever until this movie. And I'm like, I'm so glad you didn't kill everybody.
But it keeps the same concept that he's willing to sacrifice himself for the greater good, right? So he's staying true to that character. Correct. Which I know we're going to spoil the end, but I mean, to me, the ending was. I looked over at my 7-year-old. I'm like, this is some emotional shit, man. And he's like, I know.
I love that line, by the way, where he's just like, don't want to brag, but I was in the Avengers. The fucking funniest line. He goes, that's awesome. What's that? And the other guy goes, is that some type of a band or something? It's the funniest thing.
Some of the best dialogue in the movie was when all three of the Spider-Men were on the same
screen. That should have been a show.
The web blockage, literally, the web blockage was, to me, hilarious.
The web blockage was hysterical, but when Tom Holland says, I fought an alien in space and on Earth, and then I fought a guy in a rhinoceros costume.
He goes, man, I feel lame. But McGuire was just like, no, you're not. You're amazing.
Not lame, bro. You're not lame.
Yeah. You're amazing.
Andrew Garfield was kind of like depressing a little bit. He's like,
no, dude. Didn't he get a chance? Like he felt like the middle child of them, dude. Like he was the middle.
Great.
He was the middle brother and whatnot, dude.
I'll say this. Andrew Garfield's performance. I love Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield is one of my favorite actors. I don't know if anybody has gotten a chance to see Tick Tick Boom on, I think, Netflix.
It's new, right?
It's about Jonathan Larson's life, the guy who wrote Rent, and he was so fucking good in that. So good. And Hacksaw Ridge, Andrew Garfield is a great actor. And
He's not just a great
He's
actor,
so
but
fucking good.
He's so likable. Like the dude
So
is the most
likable.
likable guy ever.
Oh.
Yeah.
If I have to say something like this is how I look at it. Tom Holland is Spider-Man. For me, and for me only, dude, seriously, like, Andrew Garfield fucking stole this movie. He stole this movie. That's just my opinion. Just every time he was on screen, I was like, I wanted more of him.
I agree.
It's very funny. Yeah.
Eddie, I leaned over to you in the theater, and I think it was like 10 minutes in, and 10 minutes into the introduction, I was like, I could watch an hour of just them fucking talking.
They
All
were
three of us.
hilarious. they were hilarious because they were just talking about their own universes and like how like, oh, I have to make my damn webs. It comes out of your fucking arm. Do you ever get a web blockage?
And I mean, it's nice
That
to
shit
see
was
Tobey
so
Maguire
fucking
again,
good,
right?
dude.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
I
Tobey
felt like
Maguire.
I've missed him.
I will say this, and I'm really looking forward to watching this on my TV on Blu-ray because, let's face it, it's better than the theaters. But I thought Tobey Maguire looked a little thin, a little like gaunt, and I thought he should have looked older. Is it just me, or is it?
No, he looked like his age. He looked like he's seen a few years being Spider-Man, like from his universe and things like that, dude.
Oh, when he's stretching his back and he's like his middle back.
Oh my god, dude! He's like breaking his back. That's the moment right there. I'm just like, I can't believe I'm watching this. Is this really fucking happening? Am I really fucking seeing this moment right here?
So here's like one of my only beefs with it is a continuity issue. So if you've got like Doc Ock is taken right before Spider-Man kills him, that would have been like when Tobey Maguire was Peter Parker younger. So the fact that they aged Peter Parker from that moment when he was taken to, being this middle-aged guy, to me it I mean, I know it's overanalyzing a Marvel movie, but it did throw it off, right? Is that in that sense he should have looked way younger. And I thought he actually did a decent job of not making him look super old.
Yeah, but the thing about that is that it took people from different timelines and whatnot. So you got basically Doc Ock right at the end of Spider-Man 2, right before he actually, dies and everything.
So you could
like
argue, Brandon, that Doc Ock came to the universe at the moment that before he died, which would have been frozen in time in Spider-Man 2 when Tobey Maguire continued to live in that universe.
So that Tobey Maguire goes through his life expecting him to be dead, but then when he shows up,
and that actually works because every villain was taken out right before they died. I mean, realistically, you knew that because they realized that they died in this movie in No Way Home.
And wasn't that a great moment right there? Wasn't that a great moment when like Doc Ock finally sees like, Peter Parker as Tobey Maguire and he goes, "You're all grown up. How are you?" And the best line I feel like in this movie is like, "I'm trying to do better."
Yeah.
That's
Same
like,
thing you said.
I'm just like, that's just something that I think everyone strives for. Just like, I fuck up all the time. I'm just trying to do better. I'm not perfect. I'm a superhero, but man, I also have my flaws. And I just love that vibe. And that was like, oh, that's the Tobey Maguire that I remember and shit.
And once again, the problem with MCU movies and really all superhero movies is the villains. The villains are always shitty. And I will argue till I'm blue in the face that Doc Ock, Alfred Molina, was the greatest villain in superhero-dom for a long time because he wasn't really a fucking villain. He was trying to create an energy source that would have powered the city in the palm of his hand. That wasn't because he was evil. It was because he was trying to do the right thing. And then he got co-opted by his arm and the inhibitor got blown out. And as soon as that inhibitor got fixed, both in this movie and in Spider-Man 2, he turned into a good person. Like, he turned back into the Doc Ock that we know.
That's a really good point right there. But there's this whole redemption feeling in this movie that you just got. Like, everyone had its own closure in this movie. It just felt like, okay, that chapter of that story is done. Chapter of that story is done.
See, they did that for the villains, but I wanted that for the Spider-Mans. Kirsten Dunst, what the hell is she doing? She would have quit this movie. It would have been cool It would have been cool for Tobey Maguire if you see just a glimpse of like him sitting with Kirsten Dunst and like, "How was your day?" And Tobey Maguire's just like, "I had to work out."
I disagree.
Or also Andrew Garfield just like standing over Gwen Stacy's just happy because the way he wasn't able to forgive.
He got that. He got that when he saved MJ. He got that.
I wish I would have solved that though. I wish I would have solved just a little bit more of both of them in their own universe.
when they're holding like hugging each other and looking up and they make the little joke about you're like really hurting, right? And he's like, oh, I'm dying. You get that sense because they fulfilled their purpose of doing right, and when they see somebody else kind of taking on, I guess, the cowl or whatever, like that was closure. I thought it was great.
1 second, guys. We're actually doing a little contest right now. So if you're listening to this podcast, you're looking for that secret word or that secret phrase. Well, here it is: banana bread.
Bananas.
Banana
I love
bread.
banana bread. Oh, you throw some.
So guess
So
what?
on that? Oh,
You
Let me
have
see any banana
one
bread in
more.
this
You have
movie,
one
or
more
no?
word, one more phrase coming up at the end of the episode. Stay tuned and listen to the rest of this podcast episode.
banana
Let me
bread.
just say something about closure that I think Eddie, you're going to be particularly happy with. I'm going to make a prediction, and my predictions usually come true.
This is not the last time we've seen these Spider-Men.
I predict we see Andrew Garfield in Amazing Spider-Man 3 that they start to produce. I believe they're redoing Morbius to add a post-credit sequence in with Andrew Garfield.
Absolutely.
And I think we're going to see Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man again. If not in a advisory capacity, maybe not as like a active Spider-Man, but I do think we're going to see him again.
Well, we've got Venom now, and that opens up a whole new.
See, but that's really
Thing,
cool, man, because
right?
is Andrew Garfield going to be actually with Tom Hardy's Venom, There's so much opportunities and whatnot. And I'm going to go back to Eddie's, talk about, closure regarding to
The other two Spider-Man.
the other two Spider-Mans. Just when he saves MJ, hands down, that is the best moment of the movie. That was right there where I'm just like, fuck. I got so chills because you know why?
I cried.
That was the moment that we wanted so badly in Amazing Spider-Man.
And he was like speechless when he does it because he realized the moment. He realizes that's what
It was a beautiful
he needed
scene.
to do. Right.
That's
It's
when
almost like a
George-
ghost. It's almost like a ghost story in a sense where you got to fulfill your thing before you can move on. He fulfilled his thing of saving somebody who he couldn't have saved in the past. Again, this is me going off of just speculation of what happened.
If
since I
George,
didn't
if
see it,
George
but, yeah.
Lucas was writing this movie, he would have put a line in there and it would have ruined it. But because George Lucas did not write this movie or direct it, you had this brilliant look on Andrew Garfield's face that said everything about.
You
his
mean
whole
George
life.
Lucas? George Lucas would have said something like, I was able to do it finally.
Yeah. Finally, I did it.
No, he would have been like,
Webb.
yippee.
Can we talk about Zendaya as
I
MJ?
love
She's
Zendaya.
fantastic. I mean, Greatest Showman, I fell in love with Zendaya. And just
Dude.
watching her here, I have not seen Dune yet.
Dude, she has
Um,
grown
so
from
fucking
the
great
Greatest
in Dune.
Showman.
Yeah,
She has grown into a beautiful actress.
But you know
Dude,
what, though?
she is a
She-
megastar. She's a fucking
she's
megastar.
the same thing that Tom Holland did. You could just see fun and excitement in her acting, right? She just looked like she was having a good time. And I think everybody, whenever you see anybody in an acting role, is that when you see somebody enjoying the hell out of what they're doing, it makes it so much better. And you can see that these people are enjoying it. They like each other. Obviously, they're dating.
The chemistry.
they like
wait,
being
they're
around each other.
fucking
Yeah.
dating?
They're friends.
Oh.
Zendaya and Tom
Wait,
Holland?
wait, hold on. Jeremiah,
They've been
tell
dating
me,
for a
tell me
while.
I
you're
thought
not-
she was
you're
dating
joking.
Zac Efron.
No.
Fuck that. No.
Fuck that.
Her
Fuck-
and Tom
fuck
Holland
Zac
are going to get
Efron.
married and have babies. They are
Yeah.
the cutest couple.
Are
in
you
the world.
dating for a
serious?
while.
No, because don't get me wrong, their
They've been dating for a
chemistry. Because I knew they were dating or something like that, or
Wow.
but I heard that they were actually tied up or something. I don't know, but I didn't know they were fucking
are
dating.
No, it's
They're
adorable.
committed.
So they're
are
definitely going to the
adorable.
MTV Music Awards, dating each other and shit.
There is a great post that Zendaya posted, and it's her sitting by the pool, and she's like in this bikini. She looks all cute, and she put on the she's like living my best life. And if you look in the background, Tom Holland looks like he's drowning in the pool. It literally is drowning in the pool. And somebody posted like, "What's wrong with Tom?" He goes, "This post isn't about Tom."
That's funny. They're actually friends. I mean, also Jacob, Ned?
Ned, yeah.
Yeah,
Ned.
so they're all friends. Like Ned and also the Flash.
Dude,
What's
that
the
guy
Flash-
was
the
so
Flash guy's
fucking
name?
great.
The Flash kid's name, what's his name?
Yeah,
Tony?
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
Tony.
know.
He's from the
They're all
the
friends, so
Budapest
it's
Hotel.
nice to see that they
So-
liked each other off screen, too.
I totally agree with you. So one of the things that I think this movie did beautifully was introduce the characters of Spider-Man. The introduction of Tobey Maguire and of Andrew Garfield was absolutely fucking brilliant. So I love that you got an introduction to these two monolithic characters, these beautiful characters, and it wasn't fucking Tom Holland who did it.
It was
Was
Ned.
Zendaya and Ned.
Yeah.
And Ned's got this like magic ring going on. He's opening this. We haven't even talked about Doctor Strange that much, but he's opening these fucking portals, right? And
How the
so
fuck is he doing that, by the way?
I don't
That was
know.
the,
Because
that was the ring.
You have to go like
And he
5
has
years of
history.
like,
He has family.
experience and
family
whatnot.
history.
He has family history.
So he's opening these portals, right? And he's opening this first portal. And I'm sitting next to Kim in the theater. And I'm
And
sitting
me.
next to Eddie.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here and I'm going like, okay, this seems like such an odd like thing. Like they're looking for Tom Holland. I had forgotten that fucking Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were in the movie. I forgot. And I'm sitting in the theater, and all of a sudden he starts opening this portal. I'm like, "Oh fuck, there's Tom Holland!" And I'm
Oh,
like, "And
that's-
all
That's
the
the
whole
thing,
theater,
dude. The whole
whole
theater was just like they just
erupted.
gasped. They gasped when they saw
Yes.
Spider-Man, but everyone was like, but
He's
for
taller.
a second they were
Yeah,
just
he's
like,
way
that's
taller
not
than
that's
Tom
not
Holland.
that's not Tom. That's not
He's too
Tom. And
tall.
everyone was just getting loud. It was like going to a show and it was getting louder. They clapping, and all of a sudden fucking Andrew's face comes out,
It pulls, yeah.
and then the crowd just went.
And
Yeah,
then
it
to
was
break
crazy.
that, and to break this with like the comedy of getting hit with the bread, and
Yeah.
and Zendaya's like, "I thought you had the Spidey sense." He goes, "I do, just not for bread." Like, like to me, that was the perfect way to introduce these two great characters. And then if you look at the Tobey Maguire entrance, he fucking does the little wave, like the little goddamn wave.
Yeah. And he's not even. So he's hiding his Spider-Man suit. It's
Oh,
cute
that
too.
was
It's
one of the
funny.
greatest lines in the movie.
Yeah.
Is that, are you gonna wear a suit or are you gonna dress like a youth pastor? Like
He's
what?
like-
Oh, okay, yeah, that was so great. I heard that was ab lib, by the way. That's
And
so
he
fucking
actually
great.
he brought down his his collar. He's just like, I don't just walk around in a Spider-Man suit.
Well, and Andrew
Dude.
Garfield's wearing like a lab coat.
Wasn't that funny in that scene where like everyone kept telling Ned, like, yeah, my best friend tried to kill me actually, and like,
Yeah,
right.
dude, my best friend tried to kill me here, and he's like, I'm never gonna do this. I won't do this.
Never.
But it's so
Won't
fun
even
because
notice.
it's foreshadowing this because his character in the comics
Ned
gets
Leeds.
brainwashed and becomes the Hobgoblin.
Yeah,
Yes.
if they do that though in this, I will say this: if they start to destroy what little goodness there is left in this universe, it's going to get too harsh.
Listen, it's just foreshadowing his fate, my friends.
They
You can't
ruin
be
it.
friends with Peter Parker.
I'm going to spoil some of my final comments and just say, because you guys are all talking about these characters, the reason that I didn't like this movie, I fell in love with this movie, and I can't wait to get it on Blu-ray and just watch it over and over and over.
Right.
And over. I've told my wife like probably 4 or 5 times over the last day that, my God, I love this movie. But the reason I was so in love with it is because I feel like it did something that the other Marvel movies that I've seen didn't do. And that's that it took the story of the characters and the people's story and made that front and center. And we know the characters and we like the characters. And then the action follows, right? It wasn't driven by the action. It wasn't driven by the huge Jerry Bruckheimer type explosions. And granted, it's in there, right? The bridge sequence is a perfect example of that. But what we get with this is a character-driven story that is just supported by action. And my God, they did character better than I've seen most dramas do. And I know we haven't gotten to the end, but we need to get to the end because I'm literally dying over here.
Let's
with
put it
what
this way.
happened.
Before we get to the end, you're talking about action sequence. Let's just talk about that one amazing action sequence between Doctor Strange and Peter Parker with that
in the mirror world.
Inception acid.
Oh, that was
Who thought
that
that
was
anybody would do
crazy.
Inception better? Yeah.
Oh no, you got to watch Doctor Strange. The movie has a ton of mirror universe stuff. It's really cool.
Okay, well, I haven't seen it, Sean.
What's so crazy
So
about
I'm
that,
saying, you
guys?
gotta watch it.
What's so crazy about that is Peter Parker outsmarts Doctor Strange.
Well, he uses
It's,
geometry.
dude, it was just so fucking great.
Oh my
See,
God.
dude, it's the greatest thing ever. I'm just like, look at him. That's Peter Parker's like, his thing. He's smart. He's not the strongest. He just knows he's just a regular nerdy smart guy, and he knew how to actually figure that one out. That was one of the best action sequences right there.
So I didn't take notes, and I have no notes, and this is the first time that I've ever done a podcast without any notes.
I do all mine
I
with no notes.
I did. Well, I wrote on my little notes app on my phone one thing
Rookie
because I
mistake.
wanted to remember it, and that is, again, I know, Sean, you've already told me you got to see Doctor Strange, but the cape having its own thing. Pissed
I
the
get a
shit out
text.
of me.
I get a text
I
that says,
hated that
"What's
so
with
much.
this magic fucking cape, bro?"
Yeah, that cape saved so
damn.
many lives, bro. Don't talk bad about that.
You
fucking
gotta
cape.
watch.
You know,
You
and
gotta watch fucking.
Sean did a good job of explaining. He's
Civil
like,
War.
it's like Aladdin's magic carpet. I'm like, okay, I kind of get that, but it's a fucking cape.
Out of
No,
all the
it is.
things,
Go get it.
wait, just out of all the things, the multi-universe and everything like that, powers
the
and
cape.
creatures, it's the cape that got you.
It was
Yeah.
the
It's
cape.
the fucking cape.
It was
It's the
cape.
fucking cape. It's the fucking cape.
Yeah,
No,
it's
but
like a little
you'll-
lapdog. My God.
You'll learn when you watch
Endgame, Infinity War.
No, when you watch Doctor
Doctor
Strange,
Strange.
you'll learn that the Sorcerer Supreme and all of these sorcerers
Yep.
they get relics that are imbued with magic, and the cape, Brandon,
Mhm,
the
yeah.
cape chose fucking Doctor Strange.
Well, let me just tell
Doctor
you,
Strange didn't just pick it off the rack.
If
Put
he
it
watches
this way.
end games, he'll understand about the hammer, okay?
put it
And how
this
the
way.
hammer chooses who is actually
Worthy.
worthy
Worthy.
for it.
Put it this way: Gandalf got a cool staff. I mean, Strange
That
to get a
bitch
cape.
was broken in every fucking movie.
I'm just saying.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just
it
saying.
was broken in
It's not the
Return,
Millennium Falcon, though.
Return of the King.
Let's just go there.
Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about that ending, that flourish of an ending, which, I mean, if you've ever seen a trailer with more, oh my God, it's the trailer scene where Sandman, Electro, and Lizard are all coming at the one Peter Parker, and you see fucking what's the Lizard like turn his head, right? That's like the thing that everyone's like, there's 3 Spider-Men,
Yes.
there's gonna happen.
Yeah, the angels don't add up.
Oh, dude. So, check this out. Hannah's brother actually kind of like, before he's like, we were watching the trailer, in that scene where Mary Jane's falling and you see Spider-Man's hand, he goes in to me, he goes, I bet you that's a different Spider-Man hand.
Yeah,
And I'm
I know.
like, oh, you suck, dude. What the fuck? Why'd you say that?
But what I loved that this movie had the mystique or the like the spoilers and stuff. Like everyone kind of knew what was going to happen, but they didn't know. And so that created like this excitement. One of the things that I loved about watching the Harry Potter movies is that I had read the books. I knew who was going to die, who was going to survive. In this movie, you didn't have that. Like you had an expectation of people coming back, but you didn't have any idea what was going to happen. I would have not been surprised if Tom Holland died, if Tobey Maguire. I thought Tobey Maguire.
I thought he was dead. I thought he was gone.
Too.
I was like, yo,
Well,
see
when
ya,
he
McGuire.
gets stabbed at the end, I was surprised he didn't get up.
Get your ass up, Toby.
Anyway, so I just thought this crescendo, this last battle, had some real stakes to it. It's not like Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting at the end of Revenge of the Sith, where
I got
both
the high
of them fucking
ground.
survive.
No. That could have actually been replaying forever, just to watch all 3 Spider-Mans work together and whatnot. And that moment when you see all of them actually shooting their webs and actually in the midair, I'm just like, in the mind, I'm like, I can't believe I'm fucking watching this. I can't believe this is fucking happening. It was just so surreal in this time and in our lives. This happened. It's fucking unbelievable.
I loved how they had like a plan too. So the whole rehab program with Aunt May was but towards the end they were kind of sticking with like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. They had a plan for each villain, and it was just hilarious throughout the whole time too. It was just like,
I got it.
No, it's also too like Spider-Man, and they all look. Okay, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3. That was hilarious. And I think Andrew Garfield's like, I'm always 3. I'm always 5.
Dude, Andrew Garfield was so funny, man. He was just, like I said, he stole the third act of the movie. Every time he was on screen, you just wanted more of it. And don't get me wrong, Tom Holland, this is probably one of the best performances he's ever done in each of the Spider-Man movies, man. It was just unbelievable, man.
I thought it was great, absolutely.
And the ending, seriously, when he has to make that decision, he has to make a real critical decision, becoming a Spider-Man.
And I'm gonna leave us with this, okay? So you saw Aunt May's grave, and you know why he didn't say loving aunt?
Oh yeah,
Because no one
nobody
fucking
remembered it.
remembered that she
So,
was an aunt.
Can we just go ahead and cry together? Like that one. That one killed me. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to run through what's going to happen and how they're going to reverse this so that Spider-Man is recognized. And you're going to have, MJ and Ned, and they're going to be like, oh, we remember you found us. Be like, you said you were. I don't know how they're going to do it. Like,
Also happy.
legitimately,
No,
clue.
dude, the thing is,
Also happy.
No, he decided to say, no, I'm not going to put you at risk because I'm Spider-Man.
I know, but they've got to reverse it.
I don't think they're going to reverse it. I think he's going to have to prove his love again. I think he's going to have to go through that process if he wants to get back with MJ. Now, I did love that Kevin Feige, whatever, he announced another trilogy. So Spider-Man will have another trilogy, which is wonderful to me. And he's going to be in college and he's going to be growing up, and it's great. But I think that there's going to be a little bit of a problem if he gives up what he sacrificed and takes Zendaya back or gets Ned back as a friend. I think there's going to be...
That was him saying goodbye, dude. He had to say goodbye to the past to become Spider-Man, dude.
I think it's going to bring in Gwen Stacy in his universe for a little bit. And because I remember Spider-Man was between MJ and Gwen Stacy.
Right.
That was always like a cool part. Like he had two girls. I always liked that about Spider-Man. So I do think that this is going to be like the first time you're going to see both of them. And he's going to choose Zendaya at the very end, I think. But I think there's going to be a Gwen Stacy in his universe.
On that note,
yeah.
Jeremiah, take us home.
You can go with Gwen Stacy or you can go with MJ. Shit.
Zendaya, bro.
Oh my God, MJ every time.
Yeah,
every time.
Zendaya.
Well, it depends. If it's Kristen Dunst, no. But if it's Zendaya, yes.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
You know, Kristen Dunst,
No.
she was okay. She was. I will
Yeah,
say
she was
yes.
okay. Yeah.
I would have taken.
I liked her.
I would have taken Gwen Stacy from his universe, which I believe
No.
was Bryce
Emma-
Dallas Howard.
No, I thought it was Emma Stone. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No,
Emma Stone was Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, by the way, this brings us to the end of our review. However, we have one more last word. That phrase is Uncle Ben.
But he wasn't in this movie.
And I'm so sorry, but we've said it already in the podcast. So,
Well, we've officially said it now. I mean, come on.
Good point. Uncle Ben.
We should have said, we're going to have to go back and re-record it so we say Uncle Benjamin.
Now
we announced
time.
it. We announced what the second word was.
Yeah. So you're going to have to listen to the whole thing over and how many times you actually said it, okay? Now it's the time of the podcast where each of the hosts provides a score on the following scale. Eddie, can you provide our scale, please?
Yes. 0, the perfect movie. You don't need shit to enjoy it. 1, a filled first cocktail. 2, a happy buzz. 3, you're going to Uber or Lyft him home. 4, rough morning walk to shame. 5, blackout, shit-faced, spring break drunk. Gentlemen, let's start with myself.
Starting
That's my
yourself?
favorite. When you start with yourself, that's my favorite thing you do, Ed.
Yes. You know, I don't have notes like how Brandon and Jeremiah. And
I don't have notes
Sean-
for this one. That's what
I
I
have
literally
no
just said.
notes. I have no notes.
Okay.
I
Anyways,
don't like you.
I have a
so
little summary.
I think overall Sony and Marvel did a great job with this movie. I think the story was given to them on a silver fucking platter because of Spider-Verse. It opened up so many different stories that could be open. So Sony's gonna make bank off of this. Marvel's gonna make bank off of this. I just hope they stay connected with because there was a big fight of. I don't know if you noticed, Brandon, but we almost lost Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Like because Sony
true.
didn't want to release this. Like
I think that's false, but keep going.
yeah, so they had to sign it. At one time, Tom Holland, he said, I'm not Spider-Man right now. So they signed him back up. I'm happy that they worked it out because it definitely is a movie that it's one of my favorite Marvel movies. And I just loved every actor, every villain. I'm happy that they brought them back and made them look a little bit better. Zendaya and Ned, I don't know his name. I think it's Jacob. They are like solid friends that I just, I'm happy that I have a few of them in my life.
Oh, thank you.
I wasn't talking about you.
Damn.
So I'm playing. So this movie is definitely a movie that I feel like it wrapped up my childhood on top of like every different age of my life to past when I was into my teens, when I was in my 20s, and when I was now in my 30s. It's a movie that I feel like it's gonna hold up for a very long time. It opened up so many different doors, like I was saying, and I'm gonna give this movie a 1.5. I'm gonna give this a feel-good first cocktail with a half a shot. Well, with a shot. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
1.5.
Jeremiah.
1.5.
That's an interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
You want to give this a 0? Is this a 0 to you? You give out zeros.
Do zeros exist?
You give out zero. You give us zeros like it's freaking like Halloween candy,
Let's
bro.
let Jeremiah freaking talk.
Don't
Yeah,
worry.
it's
You
all
guys
right.
would give all zeros.
Ed, mute yourself.
Okay, 1.5.
There you go. There's really not much to say about this movie. I think it's one of the best MCU movies in years. Seriously. I mean, it was everything that I hoped for, and it did something that I never thought it would achieve. I mean, every scene I was watching this movie, I was just like, I can't believe this is happening. I mean, the cast was great. The action scenes were like on another level, but there was just so much love and nostalgic feelings into this movie. It was just overwhelming. For me personally, I think Tom Holland is our Spider-Man, and he knocked it out of the park with his performance. But for me, the MVP of this movie is Andrew Garfield. I mean, he stole the movie in my books. And I hope he gets a chance to be in more other MCU projects, and I hope there's another shot of being an amazing Spider-Man, because seriously, like, I wanted more of Andrew Garfield. The only pitfall I had about this movie was the whole Doctor Strange. I mean, I just couldn't understand why we cast this fucking spell knowing the consequences. I mean, he just came back from the end game and all that shit. I just didn't get it, but whatever, yo. What I did like about the movie was the whole redemption of the movie. I love the aspects of it and everything like that. Finding ways to help one another, just finding our way back home. And I just love that vibe. I'm going to see this movie again with Hannah, man. Like, this is the reason why you go to the movie theaters, to see movies like this. This is not a perfect movie, but seriously, for me, this was a 0.95. So you know what? It's almost...
The fuck?
Yeah, it's not a 1, but it's a 0.95. It's that pretty
All
fucking
right.
good, man. You know it?
I'll take it.
So I said,
is that
I said
like
a first
getting- is that
cocktail
like
and a
getting
half a
dipped?
shot.
So is
Yeah,
that like
no.
I said a
said-
half a shot. Did I not say half a shot?
No, you said
So,
a 1.5,
wait.
bro.
Sure,
thought
is
I
that
meant
like going to the
1.25,
bar
okay.
and getting?
That's a feel-good first cocktail with an extra shot.
So,
Based
yeah.
on the redemption theme of this movie, I will allow you to change your score.
I meant
But-
I came out of my mouth when I said a field
you
first
said
cocktail and a
one
half
Eddie,
a shot.
hold on.
Half
If we
a shot.
take,
You
if
didn't
we
say that.
take-
You just said
hold on.
1.5. You said
If-
numbers.
I did say
If-
half a
hold on.
shot.
If we take what Eddie says
What's
out
a
of
half
his
a
mouth
shot?
as a word, then we're in trouble.
No.
So 1.25 is your final score.
Go back on the audio and say I said a half a shot. I said a half
Hold
a
on.
shot. That's a
So-
2.25.
So Eddie is
Wait.
1.25.
You're saying it's a 0.25? I thought
No,
you said
no,
1.25.
A 1.25. A field first cocktail.
Wait,
with a half a
Jeremiah, are you
shot.
changing it to a 0.94 now?
No, a 9.3 actually.
So
How about that, yo?
Eddie's,
Yeah.
Hold on. Eddie's official score is a 1.25.
That's what I
Jeremiah's
said.
I got it written
official score
Is a
is a
0.95.
0.95. Brandon, add your score.
Wait. Sean, you go first.
No.
Well, I get to
Brandon's
end.
got
No,
that.
no,
wait,
that's
Sean,
okay.
you've gone
Sean's got it.
last a few times,
Fine.
dude.
Fine. Okay. So for me, this movie has a couple of different aspects to it. I will overlook writing. I will overlook cinematography. I will overlook music, all of which I thought were very good.
Music was
but
great.
not great.
Cinematographically, it was a great movie.
I thought this movie was far superior. It would have been better if Brian Cox was in it, but let's just, okay.
It's no Point Break. Hey,
So here's the thing. This movie for me created an emotional connection to a point in my life that I cherish, which is my childhood. I remember watching Tobey Maguire swing onto the screen for the first time in 2001. I remember seeing that movie with my grandfather and my mom. I remember certain things about Spider-Man. I believe that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, 2001, 2002, whatever. I think that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man started off this concept of having realistic superheroes back on the big screen. Absolutely loved those movies until number 3, which I thought was a little overstated. I loved Andrew Garfield in Amazing Spider-Man, and that brings us to this movie. I thought the first 2 Tom Holland standalone Spider-Man movies were thin. They were good, they were enjoyable, but they didn't really do anything for me. This movie emotionally connected with me in a way that no movie has done in a long time. And it wasn't just nostalgia. It was nostalgia mixed with emotions and feelings and great characters and great actors and all the great stuff that we look at movies and just absolutely love. And for that, I think I can forgive whatever Doctor Strange did. I can forgive whatever cinematography.
Can you forgive the
Come
cape?
on,
The
dude.
cape. Come on.
What?
Can you forgive the cape?
The cape? No, I love the cape. Cape's my
yeah.
favorite character. I can forgive a lot, which changes my score. And this is the problem with us reviewing movies that I see in theaters, because I was so emotionally swept up in this movie that I'm tempted to give it a 0. It's not a 0 movie. It's not. It'll never be a 0 movie. But the way it made me feel and the way the audience reacted, it was bigger and better than any other movie that I've seen in 5 years. And so I'm going to give it a 0.5. I think this movie, it touches your heart in a way that not many superhero movies does. I also think that this movie is, just as far as enjoyability and watchability, is probably the most fun I've had at the movie theater since
Rogue One.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Rogue One. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and go. Yeah, I mean, it's just maybe Guardians of the Galaxy
I
was
like
before
Endgame.
Rogue One. Yeah, but Endgame was different. It was different.
Rise of
for me.
Skywalker was good, but Force Awakens was also something cool.
Yeah, Force Awakens was
Yeah.
great, but I would say that's the league it's in. It's in that league of nostalgic, great experiences. So I'm going to give it a 0.5. Brandon, take us home.
So I'm going to just go out and say I really hated this movie. And I mean that seriously because for all this time, for all the last decade and a half, I've literally just wearing a T-shirt that has like Marvel with like a slash through it because I've just been like anti-Marvel. They can't tell stories that really are good. They can't do the kind of storytelling that I love in movies. I love dramas. I know Sean makes fun of me for my love of serious, over serious dramas that just make you feel like shit when you walk out of the movie theater. But I love that. And I felt like shit when I walked out of this movie theater because I was like, my God, I want MJ and Peter. Go in and read that fucking note. Don't put it in your back pocket, you piece of shit. Right? And so I really hated this movie because it made me reevaluate everything that I've felt about it. Now, granted, I'm never gonna go back and say that Joss Whedon is a good director and that Avengers is a good movie. I just don't think it is, right? But I'm going to say that this movie did something to me, and I texted it to Sean, that I don't think I've had a theater experience. Granted, nobody's had a theater experience in the last year and a half, but I haven't had a theater experience like this since Lord of the Rings. For me, it was Lord of the Rings, where I literally felt immersed. If the movie could have gone an extra 3 hours, I would have been like, please give me 20 different endings, Peter Jackson, right? And I feel like, granted, we always say that we're basing our scores off of, is this movie going to stand the test of time? Is this important to cinematic history? Is it going to change the way that movies have been made and are going to be made and how we see them? And I don't know if it's going to do that. I don't think it is. But you know what I think that this is, and I forget, Jeremiah, I think you might have said it, or Sean. I know it wasn't Ed, but
I think I said it.
But this is a movie that makes you realize what movies are for, right? It's this escapism that we get. And it's not just about spectacle. It's about character. And God damn it, that's why I care about stories. So I'm going to say it's not a perfect movie. It's not a 0, but I couldn't order a drink. Like if I'm watching this movie again, I'm not ordering a drink. I'm not going to go make myself a drink. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach over to my wife. I'm going to be like, "Ooh, your Midori sour's right there." I'm going to have a sip off of it.
You would.
Midori sour?
Yeah, out of all the drinks.
That's her favorite
drink?
cocktail.
Oh,
that's her favorite cocktail.
That's what it is. Sean can fall downstairs still holding one. I mean,
You know what?
that
Fuck
one
yeah, I
happened.
can. Yeah, I can.
That one
I
happened.
fell down nine
steps.
and I saved my
that
cocktail.
shit.
Broke my leg. Saved the cocktail.
You counted 9. It was only 8. Yeah.
So here's the deal, guys. Yeah, the cape pissed me off, but I don't give a shit about the cape. Sure, the fact that Aunt May was hot doesn't bother me. In fact, I want her to survive so I can watch more of Marissa Tomei. So I'm going to create a brand new category for us, which is the stolen sip off of somebody else's drink, and I'm going to give it a 0.12 because to me this was as close to a fucking perfect movie as I have seen and experienced and felt. And yeah, it's going to make me want to go back and go see Are the Marvels from Iron Man all the way to this one.
Thought this would happen.
I
Never
didn't
thought
either.
that it was going to
So,
happen.
I
Brandon,
literally didn't either.
Fuck.
I'm gonna say it on mic, so you should do this.
I will.
Don't go back to Iron Man. Start over. Start with Captain America.
So I'm gonna do the
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier,
And
absolutely.
start
Timeline.
from there and go forward in the timeline from there, because that's when, to me, Marvel went, "Oh, we've got something here. We've got something here."
Absolutely.
And we're gonna
So go timeline and not release.
correct.
No, you're gonna go phase 2, and that was the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, phase 2, Winter Soldier up through, and you have to stomach Age of Ultron, which I think is just
It's pretty terrible.
not great.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you combine
know,
the scores
Brandon, I
and
know.
divide by 4, what does Spider-Man No Way Home get an average rating of, Eddie?
It is a 0.705.
Wow.
That's a point,
0.770. And
that's a
Jeremiah,
0.705. Yes.
Jeremiah, where does that put us on the movies listing, on the ratings listing?
So it actually puts us in a new spot, actually, between the Joker, which is number 5, and between the Joker and the Remember the Titans. So the Joker is a 0.62, and the Remember the Titans is a 0.71.
If
So
somebody didn't
it's
go in
right
the
there.
ones, Eddie, we would
So,
have this movie
hold
where
on.
it should be.
What is the?
It's between. It's right after 5. It's right after 5.
It's in the top 10.
0.715.
Yes.
0.715. I'm not gonna say it because it's a little.
I think that's probably a good place for it. I really think that's a good spot for it.
I'm actually gonna argue that it's a little high. I think that it's when you look at Sound of Music and No Way Home, it's a little sad. But at the same time,
no. I think it should be a little bit better than that.
So
Eddie,
my score was actually perfect then. Where it needs to be.
I think everyone's score was perfect, Ed. Thank you.
I have heard that.
And if you enjoyed our review or a fan of the podcast, we ask that you please subscribe wherever you're listening and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. I cannot express to you how important it is, especially with this movie, to go ahead and write us a review on iTunes. Give us that 5 stars, a physical review with your own personal little likes or dislikes about our podcast go a long way to moving us up the charts.
And let's put it this way. We're going to have a post on our Instagram where you actually will be able to do the contest. So all you have to do is this. Follow our Instagram page at the.gentleman podcast. Remember, the dot means a lot. Like the recent post that we have for our Spider-Man movie, and then DM us the 2 secret phrases that you heard on this episode, and then you're going to have an amazing chance to win the greatest ultimate prize. So there you go.
And our Instagram is at the.gentleman podcast, at the.gentleman podcast. The dot means a lot.
Yeah.
Visit our website at thegentlemanpodcast.com, where I promise you I will be updating it soon. And if you want to reach out to us, you can do so by email at hosts with an S, HOSTS, at thegentlemanpodcast.com. We would be very interested to hear any thoughts. Give us some movie recommendations of stuff that you want us to review. We're happy to acquiesce to your wishes. And if there's nothing else, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next couple weeks.
Oh shit, Boba Fett's on our podcast.
Yeah, Boba Fett is on our podcast. Jeremy, what movie do we have next?
We're gonna go back to our 2000s movie selection,
so
and we're
long
gonna
ago.
be doing Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge. My gift is my song.
Oh, that was beautiful.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks. So, cheers, gentlemen.
Okay.
1, 2, 3,
fuck.
go. With
great
power
comes
great responsibility.
I feel like we're doing the national.
Jesus.
the pledge.
Jesus, you guys are sadness.
You